Okay, friends, do you hear that? That little whisper coming through the window, the birds getting louder, the light lasting a tiny bit longer each day? That is spring. And she is absolutely not waiting for you to be ready. And here's the thing, you don't need to be ready. Because today I'm giving you 9 flowers that grow so fast, so easily, and so beautifully that even if you're starting from scratch with a patch of bare soil and zero experience, you will have blooms nodding at you before you know it. But we're not just planting any flowers. We're going climate smart this season. That means low water needs, minimal chemical inputs, pollinator-friendly habits, and plants that actually belong in spring rather than fighting it. We're gardening with nature, not against her. So grab a pen, take some notes, or just save this video, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to plant, when to plant it, and how to turn those flowers into the most gorgeous little spring bouquet that'll make your kitchen table look like a French countryside cottage. Let's go. First up, the pansy. The little flower that has absolutely no business being outside in near-freezing temperatures. And yet here she is, thriving, unbothered, practically winking at you through a light frost. Pansies are the original overachievers of the spring garden. They tolerate temperatures down to the mid-20s Fahrenheit, which means in zones 4 through 8, you can transplant them outdoors as soon as late February or early March, often 6 to 8 weeks ahead of your last frost date. If you're starting from seed indoors, give them about 10 to 12 weeks before transplant and expect blooms roughly 6 to 8 weeks after they're in the ground. Sustainability-wise, pansies are low-input champions. They need no fertilizer beyond a light balanced feed at planting. They're perfectly happy with natural rainfall in most US spring climates. And spent plants can go straight to the compost pile when summer heat sets in. I'll be honest, I have a soft spot for pansies because my grandmother kept a window box of them every March, and every year she'd say, "Those flowers have more personality than half the people I know." Looking at those little velvety faces, she wasn't wrong. Next, sweet alyssum. And honestly, the name just says it all. Sweet, delicate, effortless. This is the kind of flower that makes your garden look like you know exactly what you're doing, even when you absolutely do not. Direct sow sweet alyssum seeds right onto your soil surface in early spring. They need light to germinate, so don't even cover them. Just press, water, and wait. You'll see sprouts in 7 to 10 days, and blooms in about 6 to 8 weeks. In zones 3 through 9, that means you can realistically start sowing in March in most parts of the country. Here's why it's a climate-friendly superstar. Sweet alyssum is one of the best beneficial insect attractors you can grow. It draws parasitic wasps, hoverflies, and lacewings, which are nature's own pest control crew. No pesticides needed. And because it self-sows readily, your garden basically replants itself year after year with zero effort from you. I planted a single 6-pack of alyssum along my front walkway 3 years ago. That original 6-pack has now become a permanent annual feature without me lifting a finger. It's the gift that keeps giving. Oh, calendula. If flowers had resumes, calendulas would be 3 pages long. It's a pollinator magnet, it's edible, it has traditional skincare uses, it grows in practically every US climate zone from 2 to 11, and it blooms in as little as 45 to 60 days from direct sowing. That is fast, friends. Sow seeds directly into the garden as soon as soil can be worked. Calendula loves cool weather and will actually slow down in summer heat, so early spring is its happy place. In most zones, that means late February through April. Seeds germinate in 5 to 14 days. From a sustainability angle, calendula is a low-water, zero-pesticide plant that attracts aphid-eating insects and fixes nothing. It just gives and gives. Deadhead spent blooms into your compost bin, and the plant rewards you with more flowers immediately. Calendula petals are edible. They taste mildly peppery and look absolutely stunning scattered across a spring salad. My first year growing them, I brought petals to a dinner party and told everyone it was a gourmet garnish. They were very impressed. I did not mention how easy they were to grow. Raise your hand if you've ever seen that electric, almost impossible shade of blue in a garden and wondered what plant on earth produces it. That's bachelor's button, also called cornflower. And it is one of the most vivid blues in the entire plant kingdom. It's also one of the most effortless flowers you can grow. Direct sow in early spring while nights are still cool. Zones 3 through 10. Seeds germinate in 7 to 14 days, and you'll see blooms in 60 to 90 days. Bachelor's button is native-friendly across much of North America and serves as an excellent nectar source for early-season native bees, which are desperately in need of our support after a long winter. No fertilizing needed. Drought-tolerant once established. Toss cuttings directly into compost. This plant basically handles itself. The first time I grew cornflowers, I picked a bunch and put them in a clear glass vase on a white tablecloth. Every single person who walked in the room stopped and said, "What is that color?" It's a flex. A very low-effort flex. Here's a flower that practically demands to be scattered in late winter and then forgotten. Larkspur, also sometimes called annual delphinium, is a cold stratification superstar. You can literally broadcast seeds on top of frozen or near-frozen ground, and when temperatures warm, those seeds will germinate naturally. Zones 2 through 11, 60 to 70 days to bloom. The tall, elegant flower spikes come in violet, pink, white, and lavender. They are a florist's absolute dream for adding vertical drama to any arrangement. They're also non-negotiably bee-friendly and require zero supplemental watering in most US spring climates if you've had any reasonable rainfall. One note: larkspur seeds and plants are toxic if eaten, so keep them away from children and pets. But in terms of garden performance, it's low maintenance, high drama, massive impact. It's the introvert of the garden, quiet, elegant, and absolutely stunning when you look closely. Oh, the Shirley poppy. I have a theory that whoever first stumbled upon a field of Shirley poppies immediately sat down and wrote poetry. Because these flowers look like they're made of tissue paper and afternoon light, and nothing in the garden is more breathtaking. Scatter seeds directly in early spring. They need cold stratification, just like larkspur, so sowing on cool soil actually helps them. Zones 3 through 9. Blooms in 60 to 70 days. And here's the beauty. Shirley poppies self-sow so reliably that most gardeners only have to buy seeds once. From a climate perspective, they're drought-tolerant, pesticide-free, and absolutely beloved by native bumblebees, which are among the earliest emerging pollinators of the season. When your poppies fade, the decorative seed pods are themselves beautiful, and every pod contains hundreds of seeds you can scatter, save, or share with neighbors. The petals last about 2 days in a vase, which sounds disappointing until you realize the plant just makes more. Every single day. Okay, every single person who grew up with a garden has done this. Picked up a snapdragon, squeezed the sides of the flower, watched the mouth open and snap shut, and then done it another 50 times. It never stops being fun. I'm a grown adult and I still do it. Snapdragons are cool season champions. In zones 7 through 10, they can overwinter as perennials. Everywhere else, treat them as annuals and start transplants outdoors after the last hard freeze. They tolerate light frosts beautifully. Expect blooms 70 to 90 days from transplant. They are among the best cut flowers you can grow, long-lasting in a vase, dramatic vertical form, and they come in every color imaginable. From a sustainability standpoint, they're low water, low fertilizer, and composted cuttings break down rapidly. Start them indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date for earliest spring color. Or buy transplants from a local nursery. Either way, worth every effort. I want you to picture a flower that looks like it was designed by a fairy who had also studied architectural engineering. That is Nigella damascena, better known as love in a mist. The bloom itself is surrounded by a delicate cage of feathery green bracts that look like mist wrapping around the petals. It's genuinely one of the most architecturally interesting flowers in the spring garden. Direct sow in early spring in zones 2 through 11, 60 to 90 days to bloom. Once it's in your garden, it self-sows prolifically, meaning future springs are basically free. Low water, no pesticides, attracts beneficial insects. The seed pods that follow the blooms are also decorative, striped, balloon-shaped little sculptures that dry beautifully for indoor arrangements. I gave a dried Nigella stem to a florist friend once. She spent 5 minutes just turning it in her hands. "Where do I buy these?" she asked. "Your backyard," I said. "No, my backyard," she corrected me. She was right. Now we both grow it. And finally, the flower that makes people stop mid-stride, lean in, and inhale like they've forgotten everything else in the world. Sweet peas. The fragrance alone justifies every second of effort, and honestly, the effort is minimal. Sow sweet pea seeds directly outdoors in early spring, zones 3 through 8, as soon as soil reaches 45 degrees. They love cool conditions and actually stop blooming when summer heat arrives, so early spring is prime time. Soak seeds overnight before planting to speed germination. Blooms in 60 to 90 days. Give them a trellis, a fence, or even a few twiggy branches to climb, and they will absolutely perform. Sweet peas need no synthetic fertilizers if your soil has even moderate organic content. They're low water once established, and spent vines compost beautifully. Every time I cut a bunch of sweet peas and bring them inside, my house smells like a garden party I didn't have to plan. That's a very specific kind of joy, and I want it for all of you. All right, before we get into arrangements, a quick care cheat sheet for every flower in today's list. Soil. All 9 flowers prefer loose, well-draining soil with decent organic matter. If your soil is heavy clay, mix in compost or aged leaf mulch before planting. Aim for 6 inches of worked soil. Sunlight, 6 or more hours of direct sun daily. Most of these flowers will survive in partial shade, but they'll thrive in full sun. Put them where they'll get the most light. Watering. Water deeply and infrequently, rather than shallowly, every day. Once or twice a week is usually sufficient in spring. Let the top inch of soil dry between waterings to prevent fungal issues. Seasonal care. Deadhead regularly. Removing spent blooms triggers the plant to produce more flowers, rather than setting seed and calling it a season. For self-sowers like Nigella, Alyssum, and Shirley Poppy, leave a few spent blooms at the end of the season intentionally. They'll seed next year's garden for you. Now the fun part. You have flowers, you have a vase. Let's make something beautiful. Step 1. Vase prep. Fill your vase with cool, clean water and add a small squeeze of lemon juice or a copper penny to help keep it fresh. Trim stems at a 45-degree angle underwater. This prevents air bubbles and keeps water uptake flowing. Step 2. Color harmony. Start with a color anchor. Pick one dominant hue from your garden. Let's say orange calendula. From there, add a complementary cool tone. Bachelor's button blue is perfect opposite orange on the color wheel. Then add a neutral white alyssum or white nigella to give your eye somewhere to rest. Step 3. Texture and height. Vary your heights intentionally. Tall larkspur and snapdragons go in first, in the center or slightly off-center. Medium-height cornflowers and poppies come next. Alyssum and sweet peas trail over the edges for softness. The petal shapes vary beautifully. Spiky larkspur, round calendula, ruffled sweet pea. And that contrast is exactly what makes a bouquet feel designed, rather than just gathered. Step 4. The 5 and 7 rule. Odd numbers always look more natural than even. Use 5 stems of your focal flower and 7 of your filler. Trust this rule. It works every single time. Change your vase water every 2 days. Retrim stems, and your spring bouquet will last a week to 10 days easily. Okay, let's land this plane. You now have 9 fast-growing, climate-friendly flowers for early spring, and here's a quick timeline recap so you can plan your sowing schedule. The fastest bloomers, pansy, and sweet alyssum, can have color in your garden in 6 to 8 weeks. Calendula follows at 45 to 60 days. Larkspur, Shirley Poppy, Bachelor's Button, Snapdragon, Nigella, and Sweet Pea all land between 60 and 90 days from sowing or transplanting. That means if you start this week, you could realistically have a full, glorious, buzzing spring garden by late April or May, depending on your zone. And a vase-worthy bouquet? You could be cutting your first stems well before Mother's Day. Where to buy responsibly? Look first at local independent nurseries, which typically carry region-appropriate varieties and support your local agricultural economy. For seeds, choose organic, open-pollinated seed sources, companies like Seed Savers Exchange, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, or high-mowing organic seeds. Avoid treated seeds when possible, and share what you grow. Seeds from self-sowing varieties like Alyssum, Nigella, and Shirley Poppy are completely free to collect and pass on. These 9 flowers are not just beautiful. They're working plants, feeding pollinators, reducing your garden's chemical footprint, building healthier soil, And honestly, just making your life significantly more joyful on a Tuesday morning when you glance out the window. So here's your call to action. Pick at least 3 flowers from today's list, order or buy seeds this week, and start 1 tray indoors or direct sow 1 patch outdoors before the end of the month. That's it. Just 3. Just start. If you do plant them, I genuinely want to see it. Share your photos, your first bouquets, your wobbly little seedling trays, because spring gardens are best when they're shared. Thank you so much for watching. Like and save this video so you can reference it all season long and drop your zone in the comments. I'll answer questions as they come in. Now close this video, go get some seeds. Spring is not waiting.